What's going on, everybody? It's Andy here, and welcome to a slightly different video this week. Another FPL IMO, in my opinion, video. I've done a couple of these this season, but not too many, where I talk about a certain subject that's going on in the community right now, rather than kind of look ahead to previews in the next game weeks, reviews and stuff like that. So in this particular video, it's just about bonus points. We're not looking at chips or double game weeks or blank game weeks or anything that's being covered at the moment in the whole community because of the game weeks we're in. We're just looking at the bonus point system. It's come under a bit of controversy at certain times this season, especially in the kind of the last month when certain players haven't got bonus they maybe should have, other players have got it when they shouldn't, and obviously people have been complaining about that. So I just want to take a look into it and kind of look at what people are complaining about, what they want to see change, and maybe provide some counterpoints to that. And then look at some changes that could be made and why there's maybe advantages and disadvantages to both. I will caveat by saying, if you're here just to see me absolutely bash the bonus point system, which does happen on Twitter quite a lot, then you're probably looking at the wrong video. I don't see a huge issue with the bonus point system. I'll give you a spoiler alert right there. But I do think there's some changes that could be made. And then a lot of the counterpoints are probably going to refer to Man United a lot because I've watched a lot of their games, and I think some of the times when people say they want something changed, I can provide maybe an example of why in certain situations it wouldn't work. So we're just going to jump straight into that, and we'll go through, first of all, is the system broken? Now, is the bonus point system broken? I would take that as a case of where it just never works, it's always wrong. And I think you have to say, no matter what argument you fall on with, regards to which players have or haven't got bonus that they should have, I think you probably have to say that the bonus system isn't broken. The reason I say that is, I'm recording this in game week 30. We've got 3 games left to play. Arsenal, Spurs and Man City are all left to play at the time we're recording this, or at least waiting for their games to finish. So for argument's sake, I'm going to say that nothing controversial happened in those games. That means we've had 300 games this season, and how many of them have actually had controversial issues happen with the bonus point system? Now, that's not to say that it wouldn't be great if the system was perfect, if it worked in every single game. Some of the viewpoints are subjective. They think that X players should get higher bonus points or lower bonus points. That's always going to happen. But I think human nature is to remember the bad things, and Twitter is there to be outraged. But generally, there's not that many controversial cases. So I've got controversial cases on there because Fantasy Football Fix, and I'll link their article below in the comment section if you want to give it a read. It was a really good article. They asked for people on Twitter to provide them with controversial cases that they could look into. And there was 8 controversial cases. We've now had 300 games. That's a really small percentage of games where the bonus point system has apparently got it wrong. And even in some of those cases, I think they even say themselves in the article that, X player got bonus points, you've called that controversial, but he got man of the match. So did he not do something at least right? So we'll come on to a couple of those later on. But I just think 8 out of 300 games is a very small percentage. Now, of course, by human nature as well, you just remember what's just happened. You're not going to remember what's happened earlier in the season necessarily. So there could be more cases. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying people are very outraged when it does happen, but when it does happen, it's actually very minimal. So I think FPL tweeting I've got on there as well. I think the official FPL account doesn't really help themselves. They're tweeting at half time what the bonus point system what the bonus point system score is at that point. It really doesn't matter. Most of the time, what's happened up to a half-time will not be what's happened by the end of the game. Defenders haven't got their clean sheet bonuses and stuff like that. Negative points haven't been removed for things like tackles, shots off target and things like that. So that all changes for attackers. So I think it's a bit silly to do that. And then they tweet again at the end of the game before the points are finalised, and then they get changed. And it just makes people more mad. And I think if they didn't do that, or even if they hid the bonus points, it wouldn't necessarily be so bad when they actually finally tweet out at the end of the game. And of course, there will still be times when you don't agree with a player. That's the beauty of FPL and the beauty of football, that we don't all have to agree. We all have our own opinions. You may think the system's broken, I don't. That's absolutely fine. But I just think they don't help themselves by tweeting about it all the time. Just wait until it's final and let people know then. And then you've got players adverse to the bonus point system. So this is a good point, I think. So you've got someone like Firmino, who's a striker. Now, he always, whenever he gets attacking returns, he always does really well in the bonus point system because he's back getting tackles and things like that. Whereas Salah doesn't necessarily help out with that as much. He's mainly there just scoring an assist, but doesn't do much else in the bonus point system to actually get rewarded. So you see him miss out quite a lot. Now, does that matter? That again, that's your opinion. I don't necessarily think that the person with the most points should get the most bonus necessarily. It depends what you want this bonus point system to do, basically. I want to see it reward most of the time players outside of those that score and assist for their contribution to the game. Of course, someone scoring and assisting, especially when they do it enough times, is helpful for the game. It's helping teams win, but they're already getting their points for the goals and assists. I want to see other things rewarded. So you do get players that are adverse to the bonus system. Maybe that is in itself a problem, and I could agree with that. There may be some changes around that could happen. But some people have put stuff forward like, is man of the match a good system? You know, Sky use that; they get bonus points for becoming man of the match. But again, then you're going back to human intervention. You've got Sky commentators who are biased towards certain players. I don't like that system personally, so I wouldn't want to see that coming. I think the bonus point system as we got is much better than the man of the match system. And then, is there a good alternative? So, people want changes, fair enough. These changes could come in, they could make things better, but how do we know they won't make other decisions different then? So, you take away negative removal, but then that benefits a player who actually is playing really bad and just getting the odd goal here or there, and then they're not negatively affected, and maybe they should be. So, is the system broken? Like I said at the start, I don't think it is. I don't think there's enough cases where you can say this bonus point system needs a complete overhaul. Tweaks, yes, nothing's perfect, but in my opinion, it's not broken. So just to end the, is the bonus point system broken part, I've got this bonus points versus points tweet that I found from Fantasy Football Fix. So again, doing lots of great work looking into this. So they've tweeted out a graph that shows when a player gets more FPL points, do they also get more bonus points? So as you can see from the graph, it pretty much correlates. There's some people, like Rooney, for example, hasn't got too many FPL points, but it's got quite a few bonus. He obviously does really well there. Certain players will do better in certain teams because they've got less competition for bonus. Again, it's why Salah doesn't do so well, because when Firmino gets points, he always gets bonus, whereas Salah doesn't. So you'll find Salah getting less and less. Plus, you got people like Chan again when he chips in with attacking returns. He's also done lots of other stuff that are rewarding for bonus points. So that's why Salah misses out. So for the most part, it kind of correlates. As your FPL points go up, so do your bonus points. The clear outlier, as they've put, is Salah. So you can look at that two ways. You could say the bonus point system is broken because Salah hasn't got enough points. He should be much higher than the rest because he's getting the most FPL points. He's doing the most for goals and assists and stuff like that. He should be getting more bonus points. Another way to look at it, and it's probably the way I would side with, is that's one outlier out of all the players. So again, for the most part, the bonus point system works. Should it be overhauled so someone like Salah gets even more points? He's already going to be the top scorer. Those that have captained him loads have already got loads of benefit. Does he need more bonus points? Would that not just make it even more boring that you have to captain him all the time because he's getting the extra 2-3 bonus points every game? Imagine if he'd done that over the majority of the season as well. It'd be miles ahead of everyone else. And, it'd be interesting to know your thoughts on that. Let me know in the comments below. Does it matter that Salah hasn't got as many bonus points as he maybe should have? Should the system be overhauled just for the single players like that? Or would, a couple of tweaks not only help him but help others? Should Rooney have as many bonus points as he's got for the points he's got? So I just wanted to include that. I thought that was really good from Fantasy Football Fix. Kind of shows that there's not too many issues, I don't think, with it. But there are some outliers like Salah, like Rooney, and players like that. So now we come on to the points of contention. These are kind of the controversial cases that have happened. What people talk about should be changed. I just want to maybe provide some counter points to some of the stuff that's being brought up. I'm going to try and run through this quite quickly so that the video is not super long. But it is something that could be discussed and discussed and discussed. It's just one of those topics. So let's kick off with Butland's own goal, 3 bonus points. If you don't know, Leicester game, ball comes in, he hits it into his own net, completely his fault. I don't think anyone would disagree. He then went on to make a lot of saves, got 3 bonus points. It was a generally low-scoring game as bonus points go. Not many of the other players chipped in that much. So he got 3 bonus points. And do you know what? I could see an argument for the fact he shouldn't have got them. It was completely his fault for the goal. But how much do you punish that? He got punished for scoring the own goal, but didn't get punished for leading to an error that created the goal, which absolutely he did. It was his fault. So maybe he should lose more points. But I think that's when you need more human interaction, because if Butland had been on the line, ball comes in, defender on the line too, kicks it, scuffs it, it hits Butland, goes in. That's a totally different own goal to what happened. So I think maybe there, you can't just punish own goals more. So you can't suddenly, instead of -6 bonus points for an own goal, make it -12, -18 to make sure that Butland doesn't get 3 bonus points. Because in another situation, a goalkeeper or a defender or whoever, it might not be their fault, but they still then get punished highly, even though they then have the game of their lives. So I think maybe human interaction would help a bit more then to say, hey, look, Butland completely his fault, let's punish him more. Ex-player, not his fault, let's not punish him so highly, even though he did score the own goal. But then if you bring in more human interaction, it becomes more subjective. So again, is that a good thing, is it not? Let me know what you think. And then you've got kind of losing teams. So a lot of the time what you see is a player will get bonus points and they're on the losing team. Like in this case, there was Duffy, who lost 2-0, got bonus points as a defender. Now people will say, he's conceded a goal, why should he get bonus? Well, he did lots of things that stopped other goals, so should he not be rewarded for that? Personally, I think that's what the bonus point system should be. Similar with Gross, lost 1-0 to Man United, got bonus points, was back tackling, did have some attacking intent, so got rewarded for that, for kind of the defensive actions and things like that. Why should he not get bonus points just because he lost? And to give you an example, that was the recent Palace game. A lot of people, they kind of say, I've seen this suggested actually, that the winning team should all get plus X amount of bonus points because they're on the winning team. But when Palace played Man United, they played really well. Man United, they made good attacking changes. They did attack to try and win the game. I don't think you could deny them maybe a draw or a win there. But Palace also played really well. Should they then be punished by the Man United players all getting a boost based on Nemanja Matic scoring in the last minute? Personally, I don't think so. And then you've got negative bonus points removal. This comes up quite a lot. Should a player be punished for attacking intent because they then, they lose bonus points for shots off target, big chances missed and tackles and stuff. And I can absolutely see why people don't like this. You got someone like Kane or Salah absolutely dominating the defence. They're hitting the post. They're getting shots just off target. They're making defenders worry, making defenders make mistakes. Yes, they probably shouldn't be negatively affected by that. But then you've got someone like Andros Townsend, just to use an example. Maybe he's not done it recently. We've seen in the past where he'll take shot after shot after shot from outside the box, sky it completely over the bar. Should he not be punished for that? He's not helping anyone. If you're a defender, you'd be happy that he's taking pot shots from outside the box. You're doing your job then. Should he not be punished for basically wasting chances? Again, you could use human interaction more here or define it differently. So if a shot hits the post, it's not punished as highly as one that's skied over the bar. But again, it would depend on your opinion. And then you've got things like big tackles, for example. A player that's dribbling like Hazard to try and get past a defender, make something happen, get into the box, try and provide an assist afterwards. Should they be punished for getting tackled when they're trying to attack? They have attacking intent. On the other hand, you've got someone like Pogba and Sanchez recently who've been playing for Man United pretty poorly. They're getting tackled in central midfield. They should play a pass. They don't. They get closed down. They get tackled. There's not really attacking intent there to play a sideways pass. They're just playing poorly and getting tackled. They should probably be punished. But yes, I see the opinion that a player dribbling shouldn't be. So again, you need more human interaction. The way it is now, it's very black and white. You get tackled, you lose points. And I like that because we know exactly why a player loses the points. It just doesn't necessarily always work out correctly. You could just have the amount they lose, I don't know. Or you can have someone watch how a player gets tackled. Are they trying to go forward? Are they just trying to make a sideways pass? Those kind of things could be taken into consideration. And then you've got like goals and assists. So you'll see sometimes, example I saw someone tweet about was the Leicester game this weekend. So Mahrez scores and assists the first 2 goals. And then Abora comes on, scores a goal as well, or comes along, scores a goal, and gets bonus points 3 ahead of Mahrez. People will say, we scored the 4th goal, does it matter as much? Well, in a game where a team scores 4 goals, does the first goal matter any more than the 4th one? You could say that the first one kind of starts the revival to coming back, maybe. But I think in a game where so many goals are scored, why does that matter? What if the first goal was a really lucky chance and the 4th goal was amazing skill, took it around loads of players and then scored? At that point, it's a different story. So again, I think it's very hard to say this shouldn't happen in this particular game when in a different game it could happen in a different way. And the same with an assist. Like you've got Mahrez yesterday who passed the ball over the defence straight onto the foot of Vardy. Great goal, brilliant assist. Is that the same as Pogba passing it to the side? Again, you would need human interaction to then decide what's a good assist, what's not. Should this assist be awarded more bonus points than that one? And it gets tough then because it's not black and white at that point. And I think people don't like the system as it is. I think it would potentially, I don't know if it would be made worse by having human interaction, but it would definitely create more talking points and people may be even more mad at what happens then. And then I think, just to end on this bit, most people look at attackers. They're looking for the people that score the goals and assists to get more points. I don't personally like that. I want to see other people get rewarded if they've put in other contributions to the game. Take David De Gea, only 10 bonus points this season. Firmino's got 26. Well, De Gea's kept Man United in so many games. Should he not get rewarded for that? Let me know what you think. There's lots of points in contention here. Would you argue differently for any of these? Do you think negative bonus points removal should be removed completely? Let me know. So I just want to end on some of the changes that could be made or that have been brought up by the community. Just run through them quickly, give my point of view. So one of the ones that comes up is the man in the stand revival. Now, if you've not been playing FPL for too long, you won't know what this is. But man in the stand, basically, there used to be someone at the game. I think it was a journalist, but they would be at each game and they would decide who gets the 3, 2 or the 1 bonus points. But the problem with that is it's a bit like man of the match. Some people were just very biased towards certain players. So I remember when Barry Ferguson played or when Charlie Adam played for Blackpool, he would almost certainly get 3 bonus points in every single game, no matter how well he played. And in that regard, it was not necessarily annoying because you knew who was going to get the points, but it would also always cause arguments that X player didn't do enough to get 3 or shouldn't have been rewarded 2 or should have got more, etc. The good thing about it, though, is because the bonus point system right now is you see it live, you pretty much know who's going to get the points, or you can work out who's going to get the points from all the negative removal. The thing with Man in the Stand is it actually created some nice talking points at the end of the game. Who should have got 3 bonus points? Who should have got 2? And you wouldn't know until it was published. And that kind of side of it I liked, but it wasn't very black and white, and there was lots of contentious decisions. So overall, I don't like it, but I do like the fact it caused some talking points at the end of games because people just didn't know who was going to get what, and they wanted to put their point across. Remove negative effects. I've just kind of talked about that, so I won't go into it too much. Yes, I can definitely see some tweaks that can be made, but I wouldn't want to see it completely overhauled because I do think there's some players that should be, not necessarily some players, but some actions that should be negatively affected because they're not really helping their team. Lots and lots of shots off target doesn't necessarily help a team out. Winning team bonus, again, I've already talked about this. I don't like it. I don't see why just because a team's won they should all get +1 bonus or +2 bonus or 3, whatever. Not everyone in that team would have helped as much as others. People in the losing team could have had better games, just got unlucky. I don't really like that. Everyone has a chance of bonus. This one I quite like. So this would be where there's a set amount of bonus points, a set amount of things you can do, and then you reach a certain level, you get X amount of bonus points. And everyone's working towards the same, because the problem now is you have players like Salah, and because they're competing with other really good players like Firmino who are picking up other bonus points, they don't get the chance to always get into the top 3, whereas they're maybe doing more than X player in another game who is like Jack Butland, for example, getting those 3 bonus points with the own goal because no one else was really doing anything. He got the bonus points, whereas Salah didn't get anything because he's competing against the likes of Chan and Firmino for the bonus. So maybe they should have a system where you hit a certain amount of tackles, you have a certain amount of shots, then you get X bonus points. It doesn't matter what everyone else has done. You've done your bit towards the game. You should get rewarded. I quite like that. It would also stop it where a game is just absolutely rubbish. No one really does anything, but there's still somebody that gets 3 bonus points. So that's something that could happen. And then something that, if you watch the Scoutcast, Granville brought up is bonus points should only be rewarded after a certain level. So that's similar to what I just said, apart from everyone would have to hit above a certain level before a bonus point was rewarded. So you'd have to get to like 30 bonus points at least before any were rewarded. Again, it stops those matches where not much happens, not many players give good attacking input, defensive input, but are still getting something because 3, 2, and 1 bonus have to be given in each game. Personally, I like that everyone has a chance with their own bonus points depending on how well they play. I think that's maybe even the fairest way of doing it. Some human interaction. So again, I've said this quite a bit. Maybe that's something that could come in. Someone with attacking intent doesn't get punished as much for a tackle as someone who's just milling about in the middle of midfield doing nothing and gets tackled. Maybe someone who has a really close shot that just as a whisker away from the post. That's different to someone skying it into row Z every couple of minutes. So I think human interaction could help, but it would be more subjective, and so would probably create more talking points and more points of contention. Remove the system altogether. This gets brought up quite a lot. Again, I don't like this. I want the bonus point system to be there to reward people. I think more points in the game is generally better. I think, if you take away bonus points, that's just less ways for players to score points. You get lower scores. I don't find that as interesting personally, but let me know what you think. And then to kind of coincide with that, what is the bonus point system for? Is it there to reward those that are already doing well with points to get even more points? Should those that score goals and assists get bonus points only? For me, I want to see it reward, defenders more, goalkeepers more, players that are putting in tackles, that are trying to attack, that are maybe the assist before the assister, but actually it was their kind of pass that led to the goal in general. I want to see that kind of thing rewarded. One thing that the guys at Who Got the Assist put across, I'll put their article in the link in the description below as well, is you could change it to include central defensive midfielders more. They're quite punished by the bonus point system. They don't really get rewarded by it. And so unless they get goals and assists, which they don't really do, then they don't really get any points and they're just never picked. So the player pool is quite low because of that. So let me know what you think. Do you think we should remove the bonus point system altogether? Do you think what changes would you like to see, and kind of would you like to see them bring in more like central defensive midfielders and other players into the game? Let me know what you think. I'm going to leave it there because I think this video is probably already way too long. Hopefully I've got my points across why I think it doesn't need wholesale changes. It's definitely not broken, but there are some changes they could make. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. There'll be other videos to come, other streams to come, as always, on this channel. So stay tuned for FPL content, and I will catch you next time. Cheers all.